what's up? This is JRE313 and I'm here to present to you a tutorial on how to do HDR 32-bit images. Here is what we're going to be working on today. This photograph was taken in Madrid, Spain, and before we go over the actual tutorial, I'm sure you've seen on the internet a lot of these HDR images that look very cartoony and very oversaturated and no contrast type of images. And this is what HDR is normally criticized about. And this is for 32-bit images, it makes your photographs an HDR image, but it's more realistic. And the benefits of 32-bit images is that, obviously, once again, it's 32. I mean, it's more realistic, but it's also is a hell of a lot less noise, and it's a lot less work to get the look that you want. So if you are into those cartoony images, this tutorial is not for you. This is on my screensaver. Here is the final result of what I got. And so this is, if you're not into this look, I'm afraid this is not going to be the look for you. All right. I do tend to like a little bit in between, but for me, for the next tutorial, I'll probably do another one depending on the user feedback. Okay. Or just a bit depending on the user feedback. Hopefully this one will work out. So with that being said, I have a Canon 6D camera. The ISO was at 100, and with this particular image, it was a beautiful sunny blue day, cloudy day, and I used 7 images. You can actually, with this images, you can use 3, but sometimes I get a little overboard, so I use 7 images. One stop away from each other, so anywhere from -3 to +3. So the programs that you're going to use, this is a Photomatix 32-bit merging program. It's about 20 or 20 by 30, about $30, and I will leave a link into the description box. You can merge your 32-bit images like that, or you can use the HDR or the Photomatix or the Photoshop version. But I prefer the Photomatix. I like the look a little bit better. Just get the realistic result with a little bit of Photomatix effect to it. So you're going to need for this tutorial, you're going to need Lightroom. You're going to need Adobe Photoshop for the final post-processing. And there's 2 filters that I used in there in Nik Color Effects. I think Nik is the best photo filtering program out there. Just my humble opinion. I will have a link to all the tools that you need in the description box, so you can check it out for yourself. So without further ado, let us begin. You take all your images, right? And you, wrong one. Name the folder whatever you want. Okay. And here I have, in order, I have the 7 images here. For Canon, the extension is CR2, and for Nikon it's NEF. So I have 2 different cameras. But anyway, so what you would do is you would highlight. With the Mac, you would hold on to the command and just click on each one, and you just drag them into Lightroom. I've already did that, popped it up, and here they are, 7 images. So once again, you would highlight them like so, and then you go to File. Wait a minute, excuse me, hold on for a sec. Then you go to Import. Hopefully loads that up. All right. Okay, highlight them again. Then you go to File, plug in extras, merge to 32-bit HDR. Okay, so now use the tripod, but still crop aligned result. Okay, and scroll down here, merge new or name merge HDR file, custom name. You can name it whatever you want here, and then you click on the merge button. All right. Now I'm not going to do that for this particular tutorial because I've already merged it and there's no need for me to do that. So I'm going to hit cancel, and once Lightroom does work in its magic, it will go into the same folder that your original raw files are in. And here it is right here. So I'm going to scroll, I'm going to drag it into Lightroom. That's the way I do it, just for ease. Once again, hit that import button. Importing file, task complete. Hit the develop module. And here it is. Here's your 32-bit image. Now it looks kind of flat, and we're going to fix that right now. So the best way to do that is to take the highlights and drag it away all the way to the left. In this case, -100. All right. Bump up the. What I did is I bumped up the shadows to about 20, 25. All right. And so what I also did was you hold down the option key, drag the whites until you see some white pop up. In this case, it stopped at 35. Do the same thing for the blacks until you see some color here. There's some blacks here, and so this case it's at -20. And so also what I did is I bumped up the contrast a little bit to about 10, or excuse me, to 20. Scroll down, bumped up the clarity, which is my favorite slider in Lightroom, along with some vibrance, and of course some saturation. Not too much though. A lot less saturation. I prefer vibrance over saturation. So right now my clarity is at 20. Vibrance I'm shorten down to 24, and my saturation of 14. Now I scroll all the way down, and if you look at this particular image, there's not a whole lot of noise right off the bat. So there's no need to use noise reduction program, not just yet anyway. So let's do some corrections here. Let's take out some chromatic aberrations here, and let's do some crop here to straighten it out. I'm using Lightroom 0.5 or Lightroom 5, excuse me. So straighten it out a little bit, and that's it for right now. So go to export. You go to export, and then you save it to whatever you want. Now I'm not going to do that for this tutorial because I've already did it, and I popped it up into Photoshop. All right, and here it is. So here's what I did for this image. I like the way the sky looks a little bit, but we're not just quite done yet. Now what I used to make the sky pop a little bit is I used a filter called Nick Vivesa. Nick Vivesa Part 2 anyway. Don't worry, I'm gonna leave a link into the description box to make that thing pop. Okay, so here, all I did was I bumped up the structure to around 30, and that's all I did. And I hit the OK button. Okay, come on. Hopefully I get a much faster computer, you know what I'm saying? And we are okay. And all I did is right click that top layer, because when you use Nik, they make a new layer for you. And all I did was merge down. I duplicate a layer again. I'm gonna sharpen it just a little bit. I should have done sharpening a little bit before the Nik Vivesa. So I go to make a duplicated layer, go to Filter, Other, High Pass. Okay, and your screen is going to turn gray, which is perfectly normal. In this case, it's going to ask you the radius. Right now, I have it at 8.0. Okay, so this looks perfectly normal. Nothing wrong with your computer just yet. So I go to the different types of layers here, and I'm gonna go down, scroll down to overlay, and that's gonna sharpen it just like that. And I'm gonna hit merge down. One more filter, and I go to Nik Software, Color Effects Pro. I'm telling you, Nik, I love Nik. I mean, I use Topaz, I use On One software, and I've used Typhon, and without Nik always has me coming back to that. I mean, it's a phenomenal program for HDR photographers and photographers from all over. I mean, it's an excellent program. That's just, again, that's just my opinion. Uh, Nik did not pay me to say that. So you scroll all the way down to use a filter called Pro Contrast. All I did was, there's three different sliders here. I messed with the bottom two, and that's correct contrast and dynamic contrast. For correct contrast, I use 22, and dynamic contrast, I have 30. That's all I did. All right, and here's this effect after Pro Contrast. Merge down. Now, one thing, I like the way everything is looking so far, except for one thing. This statue here is a little too white for me. So what I did was I used the burn tool. So what I do is I create a new layer, not duplicate, create new layer, edit, fill, contents. Up in here, you use 50% gray. Everything else is standard. And that's it. It'll turn gray just like so. Once again, you come down here and use overlay. On the left hand side, scroll all the way down, right click, hit that burn tool, right? Remember, burn darkens, dodge lightens. So right here on this particular thing that we're going to do, we're going to burn or darken this statue here. And I use the exposure at 50%. The bracket keys makes your thing, makes your cursor or your painter or your circle bigger, and it makes it smaller. So all I'm gonna do, just like so, a little bit darker. So you could turn the layer off to see the effect. This is what it's on. This is what it's off. This is what it's on. This is what it's off. This is what it's on, and this is what it's off. It's okay. Hit the merge here. And then one final thing, just add a little bit more contrast to the buildings here. I hit it contrast by 20, merge down. And that's it. Uh, Now, another thing that you can do is if you want to add, if you want to decrease some noise, you can do that in your favorite program. If to decrease noise for me, my favorite is Lightroom once again. But that's my favorite program, and you can add some vignetting if you will. I didn't do it for this image, but that's it. Um, Listen, if you have any questions about this tutorial, uh, please send let's please put in your comments. Give me some suggestions how to make my videos better. We're going to go in my next couple of videos. We're going to do 32-bit images and regular photomatics uh, pictures. You know what I'm saying? For those who like the cartoony look, for those who like the realism look, I'm gonna go back and forth. I can do both of them. So, and this is the final result. Once again, this is what it looks like. That's how I got the image that you see before you. Once again, just leave some comments. Let me know what you think. All right. Once again, my name's JRA313. Appreciate you being patient with me, and that's it. Take care, folks.